Welcome back. The week ahead continues. It's been a weekend full of entertaining, high-quality fixtures. The Proteas, they were crowned Test champions. The Bulls, they were beaten by Jacques Nienaber's Leinster side this afternoon. Of course, South Africa, they're also taking on Angola. That final of the COSAFA Cup also happening there. George Russell starting from pole position in Canada. Perhaps to delve into all these stories, let's roping SABC News senior sports reporter Thando Mxoli. Thando, welcome. It's an exciting time. I know the weekend's not over. We have lots to unpack there. Let's start with the cricket, because I know we're all still high. The country is still high off this announcement. We're just looking at what this has done for cricket, for long format in itself. Maybe this is going to help with sponsorship contributions, but also just the appreciation of our sports heroes and what they have to endure beyond the names and the rhetoric.
Firstly, who said Test cricket was dead? I mean, like, seeing the amounts of crowds that came out to watch the Proteas against Australia at Lord's was impressive. On all 3 days, it was almost sold-out crowds. Again, more importantly, firstly, before you go anyway, on Wednesday, the Proteas are coming back, 9 o'clock. Perfect. So if you can make your way to the airport, please come through and support the world champions, sorry, not national, the world champions. But that said, look, it's a great advert for the game. Again, the interest that we need. For me, it's better for South Africa to win this Test championship final than in Australia. It gets more people interested in the game, more people interested in the format as well. So sure. It was really great. Also to see there were certain storylines, man, within the Test match. Agreed. Kagiso Rabada came into this one with a lot of pressure on him, and boy, I mean, it was a tight contention between man of the series. Because exactly, it's like, oh, batting, bowling. But I think they both should have gotten it. But also, Aiden Markram is one of those people that divides opinion. Everyone has said he's got the talent, no one doubts that, but he hasn't always delivered. First innings, he didn't really score much, he scored naught. And then in the second innings, he literally played a match-defining, a match-winning innings, and that basically got us over the line. That he was a stability, the anchor out of the batting lineup, which has struggled in the past. But again, to see people like that contributing in such big ways. Our captain, Themba Bavuma, yes, no one has had a hamstring injury with that. No one has had more criticism in that team than Themba Bavuma, but he said, I will go and try my best for the team. He led from the front. With the hamstring injury, he was literally running on one leg, and he played a very important role in supporting Aiden Markram in that very important partnership between the two. Again, it's those little storylines. Looking Ngidi, people were saying maybe he shouldn't have been selected. Patterson should have been selected. But Looking Ngidi in the second innings, to win a Test match, you need to bowl out a side twice. And Looking Ngidi, the 3 wickets that he got in the second innings, in Australia's second innings, was important and crucial to the South African cause. Some saying that South Africa had an easier path towards that final route vis-a-vis Australia and their consistency over the past 2 years. Let's dispel that. Not our fault, purely because we don't decide who plays exactly. Who. The big nations, which is England, Australia, and India, they basically have created a scenario whereby they play together. And everyone else has to fend off for whatever's left. Yep. So we don't decide the fixture list. If you look at the Test tours that these big nations have committed to South Africa, for example, and India will come here and play the bare minimum, which is not India, England, Australia. India has tried. We've got a very good relationship with India. So at least we've had a decent tour with them on all formats of the game. But teams like Australia, England, they come here, they play 2 tests, and they leave. Now, in terms of points, also, that basically decides, in terms of weight, that kind of puts you at a disadvantage. But again, South Africa have played who is in front of them. They've beaten whoever is in front of them. They've beaten teams home and away. That is important. For me, we got to a final where we played against the most consistent, in inverted commas, team in world cricket, and we beat them comprehensively. Fair and square, absolutely. Thank you for speaking to that. I mean, if we were looking at high quality games, unfortunately the Bulls didn't make it. They were beaten by Leinster. But if we look at how the game unfolded, what this also means now that the URC final cup is also over, what was set there? What should we be expecting as well as we take some of the lessons learnt there? The 3 coaches yesterday who were playing important matches. Johan van Gaan for Bath, he went and won. Jacques Nienaber was under a bit of pressure at Leinster because it was basically 3 seasons and they hadn't won anything. He has a quality side, and people were saying this team is too good not to win a trophy like the URC. He delivered. Jake White should be worried. He's gone to 3 finals and he's lost all 3. And then after the match yesterday, we sat and we listened to Jake White saying the Bulls need more international players. What does that say to the people? For example, if you look at Loftus, just physically where Loftus is, in front of it are two schools, Pretoria Boys and Affies. Now, in terms of school, in terms of grassroots development, that's where everything starts for the Bulls. And then you look at the structures that the Motipes and the Ruperts have invested in to make sure that the Bulls have got the best of everything. They've recruited quality players. Jake White is the one who leads that recruitment process. So for him to sit and say they need more internationals, I get a bit confused because no one has basically forced him to get the kind of players he's got. He's been given a budget, I believe a decent budget by the shareholders, and he's gone and fetched players who are not always at their best. He's bringing in, for example, now Jan Serfontein. Jan Serfontein at 21 was world beater. I don't know Jan Serfontein at 29, 30, if he's still the same player. But he coached him at Montpellier, so we'll see. Hunter Pollard is coming in next year.
Yes.
The internationals that he's talking about, I don't know if he'll get enough of a batch to make sure that he can compete with the Leinster. And another thing that he forgets, a team like Leinster, most of that squad come from within 50 kilometers of Dublin. So all of those guys are homegrown. So that speaks to the structures. They have not gone and said, we're going to go get internationals. They've gone and groomed and built up players who are going to be internationals. When a Johnny Sexton leaves, we have to find someone who's good enough to take over. That's the difference in approach to what Jake is doing and what Jake is talking about and what other people are doing. They sit and they say, we'll groom and make sure that the next layer of players is good enough to compete with the quality that we lose when an old player retires.
Oh, so it sounds like it's back to the drawing board for Jake White there. Yeah. I'm even just looking at football action on the back of the rugby, cricket, rugby and football now. Bafana going to be taking that COSAFA Cup. What are the odds? What are you predicting?
This team has played well in the COSAFA Cup. They've created plenty of chances. And also, it's another positive for South African sport. At all age group and all national teams, we seem to have a good batch of players. These are the guys who would normally be like your under 23s. And they've shown the quality, they've shown that we've got a healthy layer and different layers, under 23, under 20, under 17, different layers of players that are coming up and they're really, really playing good football. Also, the structure, the kind of football that we're playing at national teams is very pleasing on the eye. So against Angola this afternoon, people of Bloemfontein must come out and watch that team. It's going to be good on the eye. It should be interesting, I think.
Can you explain Angola's dynamics as well? What are some of the concerns? What should we be looking out for? What formations actually also needed? So for me,
the biggest challenge that Angola will pose is basically we're very vulnerable on the counter-attack because we're an offensive team. On the counter-attack, we don't scramble enough and we don't... Defensively, we can be found short. But still, I think that the team has learned. They opened up with a loss against Mozambique, and that was purely because of that. You play all the football, and then on the counter, someone goes and scores against you. So we'll learn from that and we'll be okay. So I'm not worried too much about that. I'm just more worried about our conversion rate. We've got plenty of talent, but we need to convert our chances because we create plenty of them.
It only counts when it's in the box over that goal line. So obviously wishing them all the best of luck. Just remind us about the time that kickoff obviously starts and what people should be doing to just support, rally behind them.
3 o'clock at the Free State Stadium, people can come out and watch good football. Again, plenty of fixtures. 3 o'clock is COSAFA. There's Formula 1 this evening. If you want to watch the big first corner turn fight between George Russell and Max Verstappen. Early hours of the morning will be your Club World Cup. That's also interesting. So there's plenty of people to sit and look forward to. I mean, like Sundowns is playing later this week, I think on Tuesday in the evening. So again, there's plenty of action. The SABC will bring you all that action live. We'll report on it like we do. And again, don't forget on Wednesday, please go support the Proteas when they come back. They'll be at the airport at 9 o'clock. They should be coming through the gates at about 9:30.
Oh, it sounds like we are a bunch of winners, despite everything. And thank you so much, Thando, for joining us. Also wishing you all the best of luck. It's winter, but we're not short of action there on the sporting front. Thando Mxoli there, SABC News senior sport anchor, weighing in on some of the sporting highlights that we can expect for the week ahead.